नमस्ते टाइम्स ड्राइव फैमिली, आई एम क्रांति संभव। वेलकम टू टाइम्स ड्राइव अड्डा। आज का जो ये खास इंटरव्यू है, ये बात करेगा एक आने वाली इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल के बारे में जो ऑडी लेकर आ रही है। ऑडी e-Tron आपने देखा होगा, हमने एक वीडियो भी इसके ऊपर किया था, बट नाउ इट इज अबाउट टू बी लॉन्च। तो थोड़ा सा डिले सेकेंड वेव की वजह से, कोरोना पैंडेमिक की वजह से थोड़ा डिले हुआ है। और अब देख रहे हैं कि जैसा कि ऑडी ने ऐलान किया था कि दिस ईयर दे आर गोइंग टू ब्रिंग ऑल द कार्स, चाहे वो एसयूवीज हो, सेडान्स हो या फिर इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स हो। तो उसकी कड़ी में एक जो लेटेस्ट व्हीकल आ रहा है, दैट इज द e-Tron। उसका लॉन्च कब होगा, क्या कुछ डिटेल उसमें और मिल सकता है, विल टॉक अबाउट दैट। वी हैव मिस्टर बलबीर सिंह ढिल्लों, who is head of Audi India। और बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर टेकिंग आउट टाइम फॉर अस। एंड बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द कॉन्वर्सेशन, आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट, प्लीज अगर आप एलिजिबल है, अवेलेबल है, प्लीज वैक्सीन को जाके कराइए, बिकॉज वही एक हमारे पास सेफ्टी का तरीका है इस पैंडेमिक से लड़ने के लिए। थैंक यू सो मच मिस्टर ढिल्लोन, हमारे लिए टाइम निकालने के लिए। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, पहला क्वेश्चन वही होगा दैट लास्ट टाइम व्हेन वी डिस्कस्ड, वहाँ पे जो फर्स्ट वेव के बाद वाला जो सिनेरियो था, दैट वाज नॉट as bad as many people expected. How are things right now?
So first of all, Kranti, thank you very much for having me on your show, and I wish and pray that all our listeners are safe and sound with their families. So yes, the second wave has been tougher, I would say. But the way the wave went up with the same speed, it is also coming down. So we anticipate that the businesses will start to coming back to normal very, very soon. Some of the showrooms are already open, and many of the workshops are open wherever the local authorities are allowing. So I think the business will come back on track much faster than as it was last time. Last time also the wave was very long. But when the business started, it started very well. In the last quarter of last year, we did extremely well. The demand in the industry was unprecedented, to be honest. And it continued in the first quarter itself before the second wave hit in the month of April. But I'm hoping by end of this month, we are more or less open across the country. And then we are back to normal business.
And if we talk about the first wave, post first wave, you said the demand was better than expected. How was that figure?
So I would believe that there was a lot of pent-up demand. For many months the cars was not sold. This was one part of the story. But at the same time, people also had disposable incomes in their hand. So there was no traveling happening. People were not going on holidays, international holidays. So especially in our segment, people do keep traveling a lot, and this is a high-ticket item. And if that is not happening, you also reward yourself with something else. So car buying was also one of the experiences which people wanted to explore. And then I sometimes say also, the YOLO culture, you only live once. That was also a thought process for many. So I think put together all of these parameters, we did see a lot of pent-up demand in the last quarter, which continued this year, the first quarter itself.
That's very true, because we have seen so many of friends, colleagues, they started taking up hobbies or work, or vacations. Yes. They also believe in the same YOLO philosophy. But if you look at the second wave, what kind of recovery are you looking at? Any guesses or any strategies which you are dedicating towards second wave recovery?
So now, if you see, there have been a lot of learnings that we had from our first wave. In the first wave, it was really unprecedented times where we didn't know what is coming. But good thing in second wave is also that we have vaccinations available. So, our own teams, we have vaccinated all our employees, and we are continuing to do across all the places where our offices are. At the same time, the customers are also vaccinating themselves. So I think once we're coming out of this peak, the normalization will be much faster. That is the estimation, primarily because of the learnings and the vaccinations which are available. So we do see that from let's say third quarter of this calendar year, the demand will pick up again. And of course, once the festive season kicks in from the month of August, September onwards, that is an additional boost that we get all the times every year, and that should continue from there on.
But we wanted to discuss the e-Tron. But before that, just one more question, which is related to the industry only and recovery. We recently saw your competition Mercedes, they announce a new kind of retail plan. So you think, and last year we saw so many manufacturers going for, pushing for digital more and trying to help dealerships the way they can. Do you think that kind of model, which where manufacturers own the fleet or the inventory and dealers work as interface? What are your thoughts, and especially considering Indian market, how do you think this is going to be in the future?
All right. So it's a very valid question. I mean, I keep getting this question also from many other people. So the buying experience is, I would spread it into three parts. One is pre-buying, one is buying, and one is post-buying. So a lot of work today, or a lot of expectations from the customers during the pre-buying is digital. So engagement of customer is not happening physical but digital. So let's say 60-70% of the queries customers bring in, they are answered online by themselves. And all the automotive journalists also give their feedback. So customers are exposed to all this information. But what is even more critical is the buying experience. So this, as per us in luxury space, is a physical experience that mostly happens at the dealership, whether it is negotiations, whether it is not more knowledge about the cars, a physical test drive of the car along with the family, choosing the colors of interiors, exteriors. So there is a lot of engagement. And during this time, there is a lot of emotional build that happens, because you see in the luxury space, people arrive in their lives when they buy the first luxury car, let's say. So they need to really go through that emotional experience that is primarily happening at our dealership. So it is, for us, digital and physical put together, a digital experience. When it comes to post-buying, yes, of course, there are two sides of it. One is you service your car, which has to happen physically. But now there's a lot of ease where you can book your car servicing, etc. Everything can be happening online and you can pay it. But also now, apart from that, you also have our, let's say, My Audi app, where your engagement as a customer with us is a routine now. We continue to do through Audi Concierge services, many programs for our existing customers where we engage with them. We offer them various facilities. They can, call 24/7, those call. Today, let's give you an example. If somebody wants to go for Olympics, how to get the tickets, how to book this and that. So all these things which are a normal engagement where a customer has a question, we can answer those questions. So the engagement is much wider. So we have been one of the pioneers in this, where we brought in AR and VR long back. And I personally believe, digitalization is a journey. Whatever we do, it is already history. So we need to keep evolving this over a period of time, and we need to engage with our customers. Now, coming back to specific questions which you asked about the latest retail programs, we wish them all the best. Let's see how it evolves. We continue to be in this as of now, the way we are through our network partners.
Okay, perfect. So now let's talk about the products which we have been waiting for, or we have been discussing for a long. e-Tron, when are we going to see this e-Tron?
So yes, you're right. We've been waiting for this product for very long time ourselves. And we brought in this car firstly into India to showcase and get some experience in the first hand information from our customers, from the journalists in 2019. From that time, we have been evolving, we have been working, and we have been deciding as when to bring in this product, at what price point, and which body shapes to be brought in. So we've sorted all those things now. We've been working also on how do we launch, who do we launch it for, and who would be potential customers. So all this, what kind of programs we want to bring in along with electrification, what kind of charging infrastructure is available. So most of the things on an internal sides are sorted now. We are almost on the verge of announcing the dates for the launch of this beauty. And just to share with you, we will bring this cars, the e-Tron, in two body shapes, the SUV and the Sportback version. And we are pretty confident, we can discuss later. Also, there is a lot of investment that Audi as a brand is doing in electrification. And we definitely believe in this technology. And we are starting with e-Tron, but I can only tell you that there is much more to come in the coming years as far as Audi is concerned.
So lots of our viewers have joined us just to know the date of launch. So can we tell them safely that maybe June? I mean, within this month?
So we will be announcing the date for sure this month, but you can say, let's say within next 2 months, you will see the cars on the road.
And you said you're bringing two different body types. What were the, what was your thought behind it, and why two different body types?
So when we did our analysis locally and also some international information that we received from various markets, there are customers who would want to be going for standard body shape, which is SUVs, but there are also many progressive customers who want to look very different, or they want to own assets which look different than the usual SUVs. So I think we wanted to bring both these options to the customer, and to be honest, at this point in time, we are bringing these cars in as FPU cars, fully built units. So we have this flexibility to bring in more options that helps us get more body types that we can bring in for our customers, which is also available globally. So idea was to have wider choice available for our customers, so that there is something available for every potential buyer who would want to get into luxury space in electric cars.
So, any other electric vehicles in the pipeline?
The only answer I can give you is yes.
Okay.
So yes, we are definitely looking at more products in the coming years. You will see Audi as a brand, we are investing heavily into electric mobility, and we've already committed that we are spending almost 35 billion euro is being planned for the next 5 years, of which around 17 billion is earmarked for future technologies, and of that 10 billion is primarily on electromobility. So there's huge investment that is planned by Audi as our headquarters, and you will see almost we have committed that we'll have 20 electric cars till the year 2025 that will be available globally, and many of them will also make their way to India. We want to build this success as we move on, starting with the e-Tron. E-Tron is extremely successful, and in Europe it's a market leader, and many countries it is being very well accepted, and we are also confident that our customers will experience this new type of technology while driving cars.
So, when we look at electric vehicles, most of the topics which we generally discuss, range anxiety हो गई, charging infrastructure हो गया, but in mass market or entry segment, is there some other research or findings when we talk about the luxury segment electric vehicle?
So I think the experience that we have is locally, where we have spoken to many prospective buyers, but also we've gathered some data from countries, let's say Japan, South Africa, or Australia for that matter, or similar countries where the electric mobility has just started, let's say a couple of months to a couple of years back. So one of the things that we come across from all our colleagues from these countries is, apart from the range anxiety, most of the people who are buying luxury cars, it's not their first car. So people already have a car in their place, and this is going to be their second car. So that is one feedback that we've received across, and we definitely believe that this is a positive thing for us, because we have a huge number of Audis already on the road, and not just Audi owners, but also other luxury car owners or any other car owners could also buy this as a second car. So this is a different study that we have, which is on top of what you just mentioned about range anxiety for the electric cars. Yeah.
And now let's talk about the segments which you mentioned at the beginning of 2021. That time, I think we had a chat, and you also mentioned that there will be sports cars, IC engines, obviously electric cars. So what about those cars that line up?
2021 is a very exciting year for us. As I mentioned, we will launch ICE engines, we will launch electric cars, we will launch sedans, we will launch SUVs, we will launch the sports version, and the normal volume models. So we've already launched 2 models so far. We launched Audi A4 in the month of January, extremely successful model all these years it has been. And then followed by, we've already launched the S5 Sportback very recently, and it's also gaining a lot of momentum. You recently drove that car. And now followed by this, you will see the electric mobility coming. Followed by this, you will also see some sports cars and also some SUVs being launched. So it is a super exciting year for us. We are going to bring in many new products. And yes, to some extent, I would say there is a delay, to the extent that for all these, let's say 1-2 months of pandemic, very clearly on the electrified cars. e-Tron, if there was no pandemic, probably would have launched this car already. But because of this, we also want more and more people to come and experience this car because it's a new technology. So the car should be available across our dealerships wherever we are launching, and then customers should be able to physically come and see the cars and drive them. And one of the exciting factor of electric car is the fun to drive quotient of these cars. So as we are opening up, we had to delay a little bit, but that's part of routine. When such things happen, we have to make some adjustment. But these are all short-term adjustments. Otherwise, mostly what we intend to launch this year remains to be as it is.
So when are we going to see the entry products like Q3 or the A3?
So yes, you're right. Whatever products make sense for the Indian customers, we definitely will bring, and in the process of bringing now. We already have Q2 as an entry segment, and recently we've launched the A4. So you already have sedan and a different body shape, which is available right now as an entry segment. Of course, more. I'm not in a position to share the details right now, but there's a lot of other products which are in offering in next few months. You will see most of our products back in action very, very soon.
Okay. So that's good to know. One question, you just mentioned Q2. Last time you also discussed that this kind of experiment, you'll see the reaction, then you might think of producing it in India. So any thoughts on that?
At this point in time, it is still under evaluation. It's not a few days, a few months story. We run this program for a year and a half, and then decide about the future investments in our plants. So it is an exercise which is still carrying on.
Fantastic. And one last question about the typical market, the two body types which are competing, sedans versus SUVs. So how different is it in your portfolio or luxury car segment where SUVs are still the hot favorites?
So in luxury space, the story is, from my opinion, a bit different. Especially for us, we normally when you have all these products available together, the sale between both of them is 50-50. 50% sedan and 50% SUV body shape. Because you also know that many customers are chauffeur driven. And when it comes to being driven, you prefer a sedan. When it comes to self-driving, you prefer an SUV. So this is differentiation still remains. And the overall segment is still divided 50-50, and that's how we are also selling more or less. Sometimes this high, sometimes that high, but it is still by and large divided equally among both the body shapes.
Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Dhillon, and thanks for taking out time for us. And wish you luck with this latest launch. We'll wait for the dates. When are we going to see the e-Tron? Thank you so much.
Very, very shortly. Thank you so much for having me. And I wish you the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.